product listing ads are coming to ChatGPT. So let's dig into it.
They're shipping.
They are. They've moved. They've just been every week. They have something new.
Yeah.
Gemini will pull up your most relevant products. I think that something is going on here.
Something is cooking there. Yeah. Look, I might be wrong. I have been wrong before. You know that better than anyone else. Google will probably push Coffee Machine A.
Yeah.
Although
You
as a retailer actually want Coffee Machine A to be pushed for
whatever
reasons.
Yeah.
The best Google Ads result or outcome is not always the best outcome for your business.
Google's really good at taking care of the user in this regard and taking care of the relevance, but that's what's relevant to the user. There's something that's relevant to you.
That's the point.
And no one's going to take care of that besides you. Welcome to another episode of Growing E-commerce. I'm one of your hosts, Mike Ryan, and with me as always,
Chris, enjoying a Red Bull. We talked about that, right?
It's an Austrian product.
Yes.
You know what?
We're not sponsored.
No.
Not linked.
We're proud.
Yeah.
But speaking of sponsored products, what do you think of that transition?
Wow, that segue, mate.
We will be talking about sponsored products. We'll be talking about a major oversight from our GML recap episode a while back, which is AI-powered shopping ads. And it's official, PLAs, product listing ads, are coming to ChatGPT. So let's dig into it.
ChatGPT, yeah, they're on a quite a bigger of a role, huh?
Yeah.
They're shipping.
They are. They've moved. They've just been every week. They have something new, and they moved right on from CPM to CPC to CPA.
Yes, small steps for ChatGPT, but a big one for mankind.
Or the other way around. Other way around.
Okay, let's start with AI-powered shopping ads. Right?
Yes,
is the correct.
That's what they're called.
That's what
they're called.
I think there is a lot to unpack because, we have been very, very positive about Google, right?
Yeah.
That they're listening to the market, and I think they're also on quite of a roll. But I think this AI-powered shopping ads, not everything is gold there. At least that's the way I see it.
It's shaking things up.
Maybe Mike, do you want to start with a short explanation what this thing is?
Sure. So I actually, I don't know, there's so much information going through all the time, and I misunderstood this or kind of overlooked this in the past because we talked a while back about some new AI native ad formats like conversational discovery ads and highlighted answers, and how these things are built from your feed using AI Max for shopping. Now, I thought that AI-powered shopping ads was an umbrella term for these, but it's not.
It's not.
It's another format, which
it's basically a format within AI Max for shopping.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a format. So it's a format that will appear on Google search. Yeah. That's almost, that's huge right there.
What is this format about?
You can think of it like the other native formats that they're working on. It's much more text heavy because it's being built with the help of large language models, and Lord knows those things like to write and spit out lots of words. But yeah, so basically, we can put an example of this on screen for viewers. But basically, instead of the standard block of product listing ads, which will be an image, a title, a price, and maybe some other bells and whistles like reviews, whatever. This looks a bit different in that it's going to have a text block accompanying it that was written by AI. And that text is based on your feed and these conversational attributes that we've talked about in the past. All this good kind of context that you can provide. It's going to be used to build these new ad units.
So I always love to paraphrase you in an Eli 5 mode, right? Because I think it's helping me and maybe some listeners who are not that deep into this shit. Basically, we're talking about kind of a shopping ad. So there's a picture as shown on the screen. There's more text, but the fundamental difference to a classic shopping ad is that the text itself is 100% customized.
Yeah, it's hyper specific, and I can for people who are not viewing as well, I can read an example here. Yeah, okay, I'll be talking for a minute because but
The text
really,
is long.
yeah. So slim, fast start machine using virtual capsules with rich flavor extraction and customizable brew concentrations, e.g., for iced coffee, heats up in 3 seconds and makes 6 cup sizes. And so
We're talking about a coffee machine, I guess,
yeah,
right?
we're talking about the Nespresso Virtuo up.
Okay.
No product placement.
So,
But
so this you have the picture, you have
so
substantially longer customized text.
exactly. So like in this case, they're showing a picture. There's a very short product title, Nespresso Virtuo Up. There's a price. There's the brand Nespresso. There's the star review and the number of ratings it's based on, and then there's a pin drop for the location where it's available. So there's still a few classic shopping things in there, but then there's all this text instead of like a title.
So basically, the feature of text customization is fully used there.
Yeah.
But the picture is taken directly from the feed. It's not customized.
No,
As far as we know.
As far as I know, I mean, you might use AI to help. You might use Product Studio or whatever to help create that image, but it's going to draw on a feed image.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, this itself is a substantial change, but I think there's more to it, right? We should discuss about it because, as far as I understand it, the classic shopping ad as we fell in love with, we talked about it. Probably one of the most successful ad formats ever.
I think so. Yeah.
Hats off to Google there. It brought them a lot of money. But when we talk about the classic shopping ad, the fundamental technology was Google was great at mapping the search term, the thing I was looking for, to the best fitting product, based on the data feed I provided.
Yeah, exactly.
That was the model, right? And the whole ad rank, which decided which product was shown, was not only but massively based on my bid.
For sure.
That's what we know.
Yeah.
Now, when we talk about this AI-powered shopping ads, we believe that there is a fundamental change to that fundamental methodology, which product is shown. Right?
Yeah, exactly. That's. I mean, I'm close reading Google's documentation here. I love to close read things, but they talk about 3 features or benefits. Intelligent product identification, and that's what we're about to come back to. Expert feature summaries, that's that long thing I just read out loud. And then immediate decision confidence, which is, the feeling, that warm and fuzzy feeling that the consumer should feel after they read the expert feature summary.
I have to click that ad because it's perfectly fitting. Okay, got it.
Exactly. But let's go back. Intelligent product identification. This is very interesting. Google says that this replaces standard product results with a Gemini-powered shopping experience that highlights the most relevant products for your search. And, at first I think I read that. I'm just trying to connect the dots here because I was thinking like, okay, yeah, of course it's Gemini-powered. It's writing all this blah, blah, blah. But elsewhere, in more documentation, Google writes, people want to see exactly what they're looking for. Now, Gemini will pull up your most relevant products. And so that, to me, intelligent product identification, Gemini will pull up your most relevant products. I think that something is going on here.
Something is cooking there. Yeah. Look, I might be wrong. I have been wrong before. You know that better than anyone else. But if Google, look, I mean, what Google is aiming at, let's start with that. They are aiming at maximizing the click-through rates.
Yeah.
Because the click-through is ultimately generating money for them.
Yeah.
So the question is, if the old classic shopping ads would map product A, and the new format, the new methodology, which is more Gemini-powered, is deciding, no, actually it's product B, which is the perfect fit for the search term. Google will probably have more confidence in product B because it's Gemini-powered and it's the better fit.
Yeah.
How can Google then ultimately decides which product will be shown? Because it will certainly not be the case that both products are shown?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, I think that Google's kind of the situation they find themselves in here is that AI is writing super relevant answers, and their ads, if they use the way that they've always been doing matching, their ads are going to be less relevant than the context that it's in, and it'll be the last thing that anyone clicks in a case like that. And yeah, I mean, as you said, like the bid has always been really important, and they've been matching products and search terms, and I bet they use some form of AI for that. It's not like AI was invented with large language models. There's all kinds of different variations on AI, but I think now they're bringing the big dog there. They're going to use Gemini to do that part, and I don't know what kind of trade-offs they might make or how they're going to weight this. It's like, okay, is this just replacing? If that was a three-legged table before, is this replacing one leg of the table or upgrading one leg, or are they doing kind of what they used to do and adding a layer on top? What is happening here?
Because what I would like to point towards to is, might there be the possibility that the ad rank itself gets a layer on top, which is kind of a Gemini relevancy layer, which is trumping everything else, or which is weighted more than anything else. Because what I think is, Google, of course, if Google believes that this Gemini-powered, AI-powered shopping ad result creates the higher click-through rate, than the classic shopping ads result, then they want to push this outcome.
Yeah, they're a marketplace. They've got a supply of advertisers. They have consumer demand, and that click-through rate is their match rate. They want to match it, and then for us, we care about the conversion rate. But like we've been talking, Google Shopping has always been, it's a pull channel, because that fundamentally someone is searching for something, they're expressing some intent. So you can't push a product for intent that is not there. But within that context, you could be more aggressive for bidding on product A than product B or whatever, and you could push. And I guess to your point about maybe some pitfalls here, it just feels like this is increasing the pull nature of the channel
massively.
Because I don't know how they're going to implement this. To your question about, is it or what we're saying, is it a layer? Is it replacing the leg of the table? How is it weighted compared to this or that other thing? I bet they'll still weight bids a decent amount. I don't know
for sure. But could we agree on that there will certainly be something on top? Yeah,
it's definitely, this is a big change, I think. And I don't, well, we're going to have to learn more about it.
Okay.
But this is a big change. Yeah, I agree with you.
Why this matters to me is, let's stick to with the coffee machines.
All right.
Let's assume you run an online shop for coffee machines.
Okay.
You have coffee machine A and coffee machine B. And for whatever reason, coffee machine A is way more important to you because, I don't know, you have higher margin, you want to sell it through whatever it is. And you mentioned it, Mike, you right now have steering mechanisms to push product coffee machine A by being more aggressive with the ROAS, to break it out in a dedicated campaign with a higher budget, whatever.
Sure.
So this was how you could steer the pull mechanism.
Yeah.
Now, there's another kind of campaign option or campaign. Is it a campaign type? No. What is it actually? It's a.
Well, I mean, there's a campaign technology layer, AI Max, and then that enables you to serve new formats.
Okay, let's see this new layer of campaign technology, which is AI powered shopping ads, decides that it's not coffee machine A, but it's coffee machine B, which is a way better fit to the search term.
Yeah,
Google will probably push coffee machine A.
Yeah,
although you as a retailer actually want coffee machine A to be pushed for whatever reasons. So this is what because I'm trying to talk on behalf of our clients and retailers. This is where I think this might be a thing. To really be concerned about.
Yeah, I hear you. It's a good point. I mean, I can't fault Google's approach in and of itself to work really hard on the relevance and use the best tools they have. But that's true. Like, well, we talk about this all the time. they don't know what they don't know. And
Exactly.
like
The Google algorithms are not strategic.
no, they're not. They're thinking on a per auction basis, and they're not thinking more than longer than a month's budget.
Yeah.
I say this
Yeah.
all the time.
Your quote, man. I used it so many times.
I say this all the time.
It's the truth.
But yeah, they're brilliant at what they do, but they're not strategic.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, to that point, I think Google's really good at taking care of the user in this regard and taking care of the relevance, but that's what's relevant to the user. There's something that's relevant to you.
That's the point.
And no one's going to take care of that besides you.
The point.
Right.
And I think it was, man, I'm not kidding. It was 10 years ago, maybe even 12, 13 years ago. It was one of my first talks I had at a convention. And it was
who let you on stage?
Yeah, man. It was a shout out to our founder Jan Radonich. He saw something. I don't know what he saw, but I was on stage, and it was basically about. I mean, man, kind of the early days. We talked about the quality score and the ad rank system, and one major argument we had why Google is just absolutely smashing it is they created this win-win-win. Kind of situation. This golden triangle.
Yeah.
They max out the result for the end consumer because the quality score is driving the most relevant results.
Yeah.
The online shop is still forced to really bring relevancy to the SERP because that's ultimately deciding if the ad is shown yes or no. But still, the online retailer had massive leverages to still control what is shown.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, Google was benefiting because, the end consumer was jumping on the ship because the results of Google were just so great in terms of SERP results. That was the golden triangle. And in this case, now what we're talking about here, I feel like the online retailer is left out to a certain degree.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I assume Google will. I mean, if there was a Google rep now, he or she would be like, guys, what the fuck are you talking about? Well, we believe that the higher the click-through rate, the higher the conversion rate will be at the end of the day.
I bet these will perform. Yeah.
Yes, but is it always the highest conversion rate the online retailer is aiming at?
Yes, yeah. That's always the question because these are just this is just in the channel what the channel knows. Then imagine like you have two products that are totally feature comparable.
Yes,
one is like a vendor brand like Nike, whatever, and one is your brand.
Yes,
you want to push your brand
for sure. And it's not always. I mean, another great quote of you, Mike. The best Google Ads result or outcome is not always the best outcome for your business.
Yeah.
So maybe you want to accept lower conversion rates, but you achieve something Google just doesn't know you want to achieve.
Yeah,
and that's a real risk here. I mean, we'll have to find out how big of a risk it actually is, but it feels like that the online retailer is losing control here.
Yeah,
and I'm not the biggest fan of it.
Yeah, I also, I mean, I think they're going to have to ship some new reports too or something because it's writing these paragraphs of text.
It's crazy, man.
Can I see that, please?
Yeah, yes.
I'm like,
what's actually in there?
Exactly. And there's going to be these AI briefs that you can write. We'll see. I think that'll be a moving target. I'm wondering how well they'll work at the start, but I'm optimistic that the technology will mature. But, maybe you could tell the AI brief, like, please push my brand, please, sir.
Maybe there are some control layers. Yeah?
I don't know. But,
do we know anything about the roll-up plan?
So I think it's rolling out in the second half of the year. US first. Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, of course.
It's a big market.
Yeah. Well, one day they'll roll out something cool somewhere else first.
I think. Yeah. Imagine. Do you think we will?
Listen, man. They rolled out Buy on Google in France. Never again. It was a disaster.
Will there be a feature which is rolled out first in Austria? Do you think there's a chance?
In Austria.
Why not? We're a great country. Be bold. No. Snowball chance in hell.
Yeah.
No. Okay. Fine. But roll out first in the US, and then they probably will have a lot of data. They will look at it and roll it out internationally, right?
Yeah. Let's see.
For sure, if it pushes click-through rate, they will have something to drive adoption here.
Yeah, exactly. So that is AI-powered shopping ads and intelligent product identification, one of its features.
It's so crazy, right?
Yeah.
If you read it, it sounds so good on the surface, but if you really dig into it, there are some things to be concerned about.
Yeah, I mean, well, everything is trade-offs. I think it could be really good at the campaign level, but again, there are these deeper layers that you have to think about.
All right.
So
Another big news. PLAs are coming to our beloved ChatGPT.
wait, did we just say that PLAs are going away on Google, but they're finally arriving at ChatGPT?
Yes. You have, I mean, shout out to ChatGPT. They just don't care what Google is doing. No,
Well,
I'm kidding. I think it's just, it was on their roadmap and I think they couldn't change it. It's a necessary first step for them.
You have to start somewhere.
Yes.
I mean,
yeah, it's true.
And I'm not trying to shit on them. You have to start somewhere, literally.
Yes. Yeah.
And
they make progress.
Yeah, and PLAs, as we said, PLAs are they just worked. It's really shopping ads, one of the huge success stories.
Yes.
And so they do work. But you know what, Google, I don't know if we can read into this, like, because Google is building new formats now. So if we take a lesson from them, it seems like maybe they're not up to the task in these new environments.
Yes.
And so OpenAI is going to have to move on that too.
Yes. Anything worth mentioning regarding? I mean, it's a PLA format as we know it.
Yeah.
It's based on the data feed as we know it.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, no. Anything?
It's pretty bread and butter. The mock-ups that I've seen, they look like a very simple PLA, even a PLA from some years back. Yes. But OpenAI's feed spec, it is pretty detailed, and there's even ways in which Google is emulating OpenAI's feed spec. It's not a bad spec. So I think that they will be able to build better and more detailed ads over time. Then the question is, you know, if they want to, what are they going to do? Are they going to create conversational discovery ads next? They'll get in this position if they're just following Google's features. There's a perception that it's just like what Bing happened to Bing and Microsoft.
Literally, Mike, that's what I wanted to say. And this is where the magic is missing. Because I mean, look, for Bing, I think it just makes sense. Google is the top dog. They have no core technology to just say, look, we are the better product.
And it was never an ego thing for them. They didn't need to differentiate.
Exactly. Just copy what is working, and let's get our 10 to 15% market share.
Exactly.
A solid strategy.
Yeah.
Hats off to that. But OpenAI has a different ambition level. And that's where it's a necessary first step. I hear you and I see it and it will probably work. But mate, what is the next thing? So are they really a copycat of Google?
Yeah, I mean, you know, the promise was like that they didn't want to do what everyone else was doing, and that and what everyone assumed with ads and AI is that this is a new category of technology.
Exactly, ads will feel different.
Yeah, and I think Google is walking that path.
True that. But they started slow, but now they found their groove.
Yeah, they've got now 5 different native AI ad formats. So
by the way, we talked 1.5 years ago. We talked about the innovator's dilemma. I think that certainly is not true anymore. I think Google has to be careful now that they are not overwhelming the marketplace. A lot is going on there, and to me, maybe even too much. On ChatGPT side. It's more straightforward, but let's see.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the other standouts I would just mention, first imagine that ChatGPT does want to follow in these footsteps. I think it's a lot more expensive to build an AI-powered shopping ad than just a more or less programmatic feed-based ad.
Yes.
And so that's one thing, is because they've got more financial pressure than Google does.
Yes.
And the other thing that I saw causing a bit of a stir, and maybe it was a bad email that they sent out, but they announced when they sent this email out that I think they were just trying to clarify that right now, OpenAI feeds or ChatGPT feeds will only serve PLAs. It will not create any organic placements.
Okay, got it.
But that's consistent with what we already knew, because they rolled back they put their e-commerce efforts on pause. I think the feed spec has just been laying dormant since then.
Yes.
Now
But
they're
now waking it up again.
Yeah, they're waking up again and using it for PLAs, which is, I mean, it's great. It's nothing. I bet their ads are going to do okay.
Yes, and I think, I mean, I love the argument you brought up with. For me, at least, it implied a certain ROI perspective.
Yeah.
Because look, I mean, down the line there will be this IPO, right? I mean, and they
sooner than later,
and they have to show some income streams, and why not go with the low hanging fruit, which is a straightforward PLA campaign tag. They know it's working, so maybe it's a smart strategy. Again, the ambition level is to cross 100 billion.
Yes.
In their ads business.
Yes.
Within the next 4 years.
Yes.
Yeah. Classic PLAs won't going to cut it. That's my statement.
No, I agree with you.
So we don't want to be critical. It's just we holding. I mean, there's an ambition level, and I think the pace they roll out is not enough, and especially the innovation factor is completely missing.
Yeah, that's what what I always feel like is, if I were an investor, it's like, how much have I spent on this company that was supposed to change everything, and they just they were scraping Google Shopping, and now they're remaking Google Shopping ads from 10 years ago or more.
Maybe it's part of a bigger plan, and they really do this small steps on purpose, and they have something up their sleeves.
As I said, there's something every week. Yes. So that's for sure. There's really something every week. They've got the teams working, and let's see.
So to wrap it up, classic standard shopping campaigns got the big hit on Google side because there's a new AI-powered shopping ads.
Yes.
Which is not everything is gold there. I think we have to be careful here, especially from the perspective of the online retailer.
Yes.
Probably losing control.
Exactly.
To a certain degree.
Like, AI is more involved in matching. AI is involved in what the ad looks like.
The ad rank might change.
Yep.
And on the other side, ChatGPT is doubling down on classic standard shopping.
Yeah. So there you have it. I'm now. I'm really proud of my segue back at the start. With
I will rewatch this.
That was not
and I think I will be even prouder of you than I.
Sponsored products. It's been a pleasure, Chris.
Be careful with my shoulder.
Right? Oh yeah. All right. Hold on. No,
don't do that. Don't. Yeah, you do it.
You said be careful with my shoulder. That's your fault, Chris. Ladies and gentlemen, before I let you go, I just want to say we are in the presence of a real podcasting hero. Chris had shoulder surgery, sport-related shoulder surgery, and he's here toughing it out. He even went in for the handshake, even though he didn't have to.
This was the toughest part of the podcast right now, shaking your hands. Not because I don't like you, I know you love me, but the shoulder is hurting. Yeah. But I hope I delivered somehow.
All right. Well, we applaud your dedication.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks to everyone for watching. We admire your dedication for sticking through the whole episode. As always, this has been another episode of Growing E-commerce, brought to you by Smarter E-commerce, also known as smec. You can learn more at smarter-ecommerce.com. And we really appreciate if you leave us a review, give us a shout on social media. Everything helps. Thank you. See you next time.
Bye-bye.